My dad and my grandma have been gardening for years, and that's probably where I got the gardening bug from. So in his own backyard, he's got a huge gardening setup here. What's going on, my plant people? I am the ADHD gardener, where I use gardening, houseplants, and humor as a form of mental health therapy, and I am here in the backyard of my dad's house. That's my dad right there. He's been gardening for years, everything from regular gardening to landscaping, the works. So I'm in his backyard right now, and what he has here, what you can see probably behind us, is a rain gutter system. Now, he has started this years ago, back when we were living in the city and we only had just a small backyard. I have my dad here, wave dad, poop, there he goes, and he's gonna talk all about how this setup works.
This is a system that I saw on YouTube years ago from Larry Hall in Minnesota.
You know what? Let's start from the beginning. What do you have here as the base?
All right, the base. Well, you go to Home Depot or another box store and you get a 10-foot, they come standard, 10-foot.
Okay.
Rain gutter.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, of course, you get the ends for it. The 2x4s, pressure treated, also by 10 feet long. Same length as the
rain gutter.
Rain gutter. Now, you want to use good silicone to, to cap it. One thing to be careful of: drill the hole, half-inch hole on the end
of the rain gutter
before you glue it together.
Before? Why before?
Because after you glue it together and then you're starting to drill in there, it's gonna rattle and shake. Maybe it'll shake your silicone loose. But if you drill them, pre-drill them, and then you glue them together, and then it's easy to put your little miniature float. Now,
all right, so what you did was you took a rain gutter, you made a base for it so you could have somewhere.
This basically you drill, look, right here, you drill screws, they come, this is like roofing, for metal roofing screws.
All right.
Right into it. And then, but you must brace it from the bottom along different, see what I'm saying? To give it rigidity, because if not, even here, I did it here on the end and on the bottoms.
All right, cool.
You pressure treat it because it's not going to affect the quality of anything there, but it's going to last you a lot longer.
It is.
So that's like a half-inch hole. And then this, it's like your toilet flow, see?
Toilet flow, look at that. You can just go to the plumbing department.
If you have a low level, when the plants suck up most of the water, it calls for water, see it? And then when it's full, boom, it stops like your toilet does.
All right.
These you order on Amazon usually.
Or Amazon.
Home Depot, let's say, for instance, you get your gutter.
Yeah.
Your 2x4s. Maybe these been helping. I sprung a couple of leaks with those little.
And what are those?
Those little clamps. The smallest clamps.
Oh man.
Because you have a 1/4 inch. Also get the float with the 1/4 inch barb. I'll show you later.
Okay.
Nice and level, and rigidity is important. These things are screwed. These are screwed to here to keep it rigid. There's a couple screwed on the end too.
You don't want your rain gutter bending at all. You want it straight, you want it sturdy.
There's one issue I've been having. I don't know if I can get tubing, which is a little bigger. This is 1/4 inch tubing. This is supposed to be a 1/4 inch barb, but it's looking like it's more like overall, it looks like it's 3/8. So now getting this in there, getting that in there has been a problem. So you either make sure you hunt something down smaller than this. This is 1/4 inch supposedly, but I've been having a very hard time. So normally I stick an owl in there, like an ice pick, an owl. You make this out of a Phillips screwdriver. And normally what I had to do is heat this and stick this in there and heat it up with a
to make it fit. I remember you doing that.
Yes, and this is why I had to use them small little clamps on them.
So basically what he's doing is hacking the wire system. So what you do is, in case you really need...
I'm having much trouble with this. Much trouble with this.
Okay, so basically we're having a tubing size issue.
Yes, it would be remedied if we can get these smaller. You know what I'm saying? To fit the 1/4 inch tubing. Right, so when I expanded it, it became permanently like expanded, and you'll see that I had to use the little clamps. Tiny radiator clamps was helping. They actually helped very much, because once I've expanded this with heat, I stick this as far as I can, it sort of seems to lose its grip. I'm able to get it in there, but it seems to see how it got larger.
Yeah.
See, once I heat it, it gets larger.
Yeah, but now you won't be. Now you won't
And
be able
then
to.
It's sort of kind of. Once you do that, you can get it in there, but it kind of loses its grip a little bit. So, Home Depot, they sell like a 10-pack of these for a couple of dollars.
What's that? A clamp?
Yes, those little red.
Oh yeah, you're always talking about those
Yeah,
damn
and look
clamps.
here, see how full I am? And it looks pretty clean too, see?
Yeah, it does. I mean,
But did you see something moving around? That could be mosquito larvae or something.
look at that. Notice something floating around in the water. What's up with that?
I don't know, but it doesn't look like mosquito larvae. Mosquito larvae is squiggly looking. That, I don't know what it is, but you know what I like to do? I put enough little stones or something around it at all times, you know.
To weigh it down.
Yeah, preferably something that is not round. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And to keep anything from flying out. But that was my main problem so far has been this. And over the years was making sure that I had a good seal on the rain gutter ends, on the ends. See how they got beat up from traveling from Newark?
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Right, but they're still holding years later. They have a marine silicone too. It's very expensive.
You've had these for like at least 3-4 years. 4 years easily.
Yeah. Okay, and then landscape fabric, the whole thing.
You want a landscaper fabric,
Or else,
Or
you'll have
else.
mosquitoes.
and you don't want mosquitoes or bugs, so you
Right,
have to cover
And you
them.
can also fill around here with, dirt.
Or something to keep
Yeah,
the weight
peat
down.
moss. I use peat moss, see?
Look at that.
And then he wicks up. Bunch of little
All
white
right.
critters there. Look at that.
So he's got this running all the way down.
And the baskets, these are like 10-inch baskets. You get them at the Dollar Tree for only $1.
What?
Yeah,
The little
because
buckets?
If you use the big buckets, as you see
Uh-huh.
here,
Okay.
the big buckets, you have to make so much, peat moss, perlite, all the other ingredients that you normally amend your soil with.
It is possible though, but it's just a lot more work
Oh, yeah.
with a
The
huge
smaller the
5-gallon.
bucket, I would suggest like maybe a slightly larger, but these you get at the, like I said, at that Dollar Tree for only $1.
Nice.
And then you always check, because once in a while you spring a leak. It could be here,
Now what is this hose that's running
This
along
is a 1/2-inch landscape hose that feeds the main artery.
main artery? Now I guess you'll show me that.
Well, the
Onward.
main artery, right? And then you tap into it with these little, little things that
These little
your
irrigation
tool that
systems.
I have it over there.
Yeah.
And then you feed into it, and then it automatically fills up. As the plants during the day suck up the water, it wakes up.
All right. So I
One
guess
thing-
we'll show how we set up one of these containers.
From Puerto Rico, she got seeds sent here. Is bitter orange
Nice.
for meat and
Is that like sour orange or like a grapefruit?
sour orange.
Sour orange.
Yeah, so you
Nice.
can make teas and different things like that.
I believe Cubans use a sour orange a lot in their marinades.
Something
Sure.
If you're not going to, like for instance, I'm gonna trellis this stuff. That's why I have that. I'm gonna trellis that here because I have squash, watermelon. Now I'm not gonna have room to do that same thing here. So what I do normally is I drill little holes and I tie the bucket to the rain gutter because the weight of maybe cantaloupes or
Yes.
it'll tip the bucket over.
Yeah, you don't want that.
No, it will. So you have to tie them up. This is a small pail. You have your 3-inch for your net cup.
So this is what the bucket looks like. This is what the bucket looks like before you have it set up in the gutter
You
system.
can drill a 3-inch or 2 7/8 hole, or you get
Right
that
on the bottom.
at the hardware store. You'll have that hole there.
Bam.
Now, if you notice some of these buckets, like this one here, these here have holes drilled on the side of them.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
to prevent root ball. I don't always see it as so.
that
necessary.
root bounce, you want to prevent that.
You
That
gotta
one.
prevent that. So when the roots supposedly come and see daylight, they stop going. They stop balling around. All right.
All right. Well,
Yeah, that's in theory.
in theory, I don't know if
All right.
you've
So the
seen
net
too
cup, a
much.
3-inch net cup, landscape fabric. Once again, you want to tuck that in there, and you stick it in the hole. Now, to
See,
start-
look at the bottom. Look at the bottom. Cool.
Nice. Now to start the wicking process, you must get your. I already had some of this.
Now, what mixture is this?
This is peat moss, perlite, and then your other stuff like bone meal, organic what do you call it?
All right.
A few additives.
Right, of course. You want to give it a little bit of fertilizer boost, as I'm always talking about.
Yes.
Fertilizer.
But the main thing you want to do is to start the wicking process. Is to
Use a.
moisten it real good so we can start wicking like right away.
Now, why are you using that peat moss mix versus dirt?
Great question. Because if I use topsoil, which I have some, with all the other additives and cow manure and such things, they would, when it rains, it would just wash right through this.
Ah, and you don't want that. That would defeat the whole purpose.
Peat moss is more like almost like an indoor plant setup.
Yeah.
So, and you can use it year after year. Doesn't, you know. And then here, my little hack.
This is an awesome hack that he came up with.
Well, Larry Hall.
Larry Hall, okay.
I don't steal anything from Larry Hall, but there you go. Now you can work. You know.
Look at that. Now,
fill up and stuff like that.
right. He just took a regular plyboard, cut a hole in it, the size of, you know, whatever that was.
If you were going to do those buckets with the holes here to prevent root balling, and then you would have to add more landscape fabric. That's why I'm leaning towards not going with it anymore. But anyway, you would do that to keep your.
You would put the fabric inside if you were gonna cut the holes on the side of the buckets.
You can
You're
try
right.
some without, some with. I already had some of these pre-cut, but that's basically it.
But I see that you prefer the ones without the holes on the side.
It's less work.
You prefer the without
It's
the
less
holes.
work. It's just tedious work.
Yeah, that's true.
Another thing is, like you see in most videos, when you start using this to cut the hole at the bottom of this, always put your drill on reverse.
Reverse. Why reverse?
Because it would just burn a hole through instead of like biting and ripping the bucket apart, maybe like that.
Oh, see, do not do that.
And do not do that. You put the drill in reverse and it just kind of burns a hole through.
Ah, wow. How about that?
That's a
See,
good tip.
hack.
That's a good tip. Utility knife, and you cut an X where the net cup is going to go, and it'll just fall right in. And then you adjust the wing nut on the float to make sure that you have just the right water level. You don't want it spilling over and you're losing a lot of water.
Right. You want
don't want it too low. You want contact with that net cup.
Now, could you, in theory, not have this running tube? All right, you have this tube running for water just to keep water pumping inside of the rain gutter at all times.
I mean, you could do it, but you'd have to feed it continuously. And the whole purpose is
To not feed
no
it.
weeding, no watering, no weeding. That's the whole thing. I'm a lazy. I just like to set it up, let it feed itself.
Well, that's the point. I mean, if you're gonna set this up anyway, so
right. You don't
you're
wanna
gonna
have-
need a water
This
source.
will soak up all this water a couple times a day.
Oh, that is why you want to.
Yeah,
that's why you want to run a water system going
You don't
on.
want to stop the wicking system, the wicking process. So if you want, I'll show you here.
All right, let's do this.
I'm not gonna do any more.
Right. Okay, so after you have all of your buckets set up just like that, like he showed you, then you go all the way to your gutters.
Take a utility knife and you cut an X where the net cup is gonna go, and it'll just fall right in. And then you adjust the wing nut on the float to make sure that you have just the right water level. You don't want it spilling over and you're losing a lot of water.
Right. You want
don't
at
want
least-
it too low. You want contact with that net cup.
Okay, so
Basically-
you want enough water in the gutter to make contact with the little net cups.
And when you first set it up, you must make sure it's perfectly level. Or else
The
all
water
your
level?
Water, yes. The rain gutter. The rain gutter system itself. Right, because if it fills up and if it's on level, it's just gonna go to one end. You're gonna have one bucket with water, one without. So make sure it's nice and level. You can adjust it as I've done here, see? You adjust them. And then it's just a matter of checking for leaks. You know, I leave it on all day if I have to, just to check for leaks. If everything is working fine, I leave it on for a few hours, I forget all about it.
Oh, now what were you doing this morning about something about a timer?
Oh, right here, well.
Something about a timer.
Just like you have at your place, I'm going to be installing my timer. I've only been here now, going on, this is my second season. And of course I had an injury, so I'm a little backed up.
There you go.
Well, over here we just have a pressure reducer 15 pound that feeds that, because you don't want house pressure. I have like 100 pounds. in a house, and you're more likely gonna spring a leak. Something is gonna give at 100 pounds.
Okay.
So you reduce it to 15 pounds.
You can buy this on Amazon or wherever you want
Right,
to.
and then you also have a backflow preventer, an anti-siphon, you know, and that just prevents from water going back. Get one with a smaller diameter.
What diameter is that one?
This is supposed to be 1/4 inch. It's supposed to be 1/4
And what
inch.
tubing is that tubing that you're using?
Well, that's 1/4 inch tubing.
Oh,
The
and
problem is, doesn't seem to
work.
coincide very well.
One of them has to have like a barbed end or
right,
something.
and I just bought some different tubing, so I'm hoping that fixes it. I have it in my truck.
Huh? All right. Well, there you go, folks. That man has a lot of information. He is just a wealth of knowledge. He's been gardening for years, not to mention having his own landscaping business for a while. So I hope you learned a little something about rain gutter gardening system. I know it sounds confusing in the beginning, and trust me, maybe that's probably why I didn't get into it in the first place. But rain gutter gardening is not exactly for everybody. I guess it all depends on what kind of backyard you have, what kind of setup do you have, because I know this is possible even indoors. Maybe rain gutter systems is an option for you. It's not for everybody. I know my dad has been trying to get me to do rain gutters for a while, but for the scale that I'm going for, to me, it's not feasible for my situation. But maybe rain gutters is an option for you. You never really know. I really hope you enjoyed this video and you really learned a little something about rain gutter system, and maybe it could be a possible option for you too. If you did like this video, then don't forget to show me some love and smash that like button. I really appreciate it. It really helps me out. It lets YouTube know that you guys like my videos. Also, if you enjoy content like this on gardening, houseplants, and humor as a form of mental health therapy, then consider subscribing. I drop a video every week and then some in between. Also, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. I'm on there all the time. I share memes. I share a lot of ins and outs of my life, side projects. And as usual, I love chilling with you guys. And until the next episode, peace and love.